The basics of evolution are really quite simple, although the resistance to them is enormous. It's the idea that humans didn't fall from the sky. We comprise a species, a biological species, which is not static, did not begin 6,000 or 10,000 years ago. It has a gradual evolutionary history going back in time as part of this big, huge thing called the tree of life. We share the same DNA, not just with chimpanzees, but with oak trees and blades of grass, which is variations in the spelling. Now, somebody might say, okay, that's science, but what does that have to do with politics? What does that have to do with law? What does that have to do with epistemology, or human rights, or the meaning of life? It's just unbelievable how much it has to do with these topics and so many more. The whole book explores the implications of evolution for traditional questions in philosophy. The purpose of the book is first to get students thinking from an evolutionary perspective and seeing that this is not irrelevant, but this is highly relevant to topic after topic after topic. The nature of consciousness, the nature of knowledge, the differences between the sexes, the topic of race, the topic of ethics, the meaning of life. The list just continues and continues and continues. The idea is interdisciplinary. The scholarship out there is enormous, and so I try to introduce them to that, along with working in some of my own arguments here and there. For example, in the chapter on evolution and ethics, I have maybe 2 pages on the implications of evolution for the topic of human rights. But that in itself is my next book. I took those 2 pages and developed it into a paper, which I realized could not be a paper, had to be a book, and so now it's a book. But that's the sort of thing I'd like students to do, get them started and doing their own research on this topic or the other one. What is the evidence for evolution? It's massive. You can't put it in a page, in a paragraph. You can't put it even in one book. That's just scratching the surface. It's massive, and it's massive from so many different directions. It's beyond reasonable doubt. Now, if somebody doesn't want to believe that, what does that tell me? It tells me that they don't value evidence. Evolution is not a theory. It's not what scientists want to believe. They believe it because the evidence is beyond any reasonable doubt. That's the criterion of evidence in science. Now, we value that in law. If I'm on trial for a murder I didn't commit, right? Who do I want in the jury? I want people who proportion their belief according to the evidence, who believe in beyond reasonable doubt. That's what I want. That's what everybody should want. That's what our legal system is based on. And that's the way it should be based. And so when I get somebody who says, oh, the evidence for evolution, my question is, do you value evidence? Yes, I do. Okay, then why don't you examine the evidence? And if somebody says, well, I don't care about evidence. What's evidence? Everything's a matter of opinion. I just walk away, because you cannot make an argument with somebody who lacks the stuff of knowledge for why they should pursue knowledge. Don't just read philosophers, read psychologists, read evolutionary biologists, read some theologians, read some feminists, read some existentialists. You never know what you might find that's insightful, that's useful, that helps you to connect the dots, that makes the lights go on so that you see something that you didn't see before. Maybe you might even see something that nobody has ever seen before. That's the wonder of learning. It's not just memorizing and learning what you need to get an A on the test. The students should rise above that.